All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Are we ready for some Friday mental motivation? I am excited to be here with you this morning for another version of Friday mental motivation. You know, every Friday morning at 8:30, 8:35, 8:30 range, we're going to come on here with some mental motivation for you. And I am so ready for Friday mental motivation today. I was thinking about it all week long, and you know what I'm going to talk with you about today? The question I have for you is: are you average? See, the difference between average and achieving is what I want to talk about today. So the question is: are you average? Are you like everybody else? Are you just common? Are you just good enough and not exceedingly well? So today on Friday Motivation, the question is, are you average? And I'm going to talk about the difference between average and achieving people. But I'm going to start off with this story. Now, you know, I'm from Louisiana, so I got a Cajun story for you this morning here. You know, there's a group of Cajuns were sitting around bragging about how successful they were. Thibodeau says, I just bought me another shrimp boat. Yeah. And I got me about 10 people working for me. That ain't nothing, says Landry. I've been promoted at the refinery, and now I got about 50 men working for me. Boudreaux hears this, and he doesn't want to be outdone, and he didn't want to look bad in front of his friends, so he says, oh, yeah? Well, I got 300 people under me. Now, Thibodeau says, what you talking about, Boudreaux? You mow lawns all day long. That's true, says Boudreaux, but now I'm cutting the grass at the cemetery, and I got 300 people under me. You see, there's nothing wrong with a little competition. See, the problem for many leaders is that, and many people, is that they end up competing against their peers in their own organization. Are you competing against your peers in your own organization instead of against the competition? And you compete in a way that it hurts the team and it hurts yourself. So remember, are you average? Or are you an achieving person? See, do you know people that are a little bit better than everyone else around them? Have you ever wondered what's their secret? Have you ever wondered if they have a secret sauce? See, this reminds me of a scene in the movie Space Jam. If you're old enough, you remember Space Jam. If you're old enough and you remember Space Jam, type it in the comments. Just type in Space Jam. Right away, I'll know you're old enough to know what Space Jam is. See, these young folks don't know what Space Jam is. See, it was starring Michael Jordan, right? And where the Toon Squad is losing by a large margin at halftime, and they go into the locker room with very little hope of winning the game. Now, in this scene, Michael Jordan is doing everything he can to encourage the team, but it's not working. So Bugs Bunny takes matters into his own hands, and by secretly writing 3 game-changing words on Michael Jordan's water bottle. It says, Micro's secret sauce. In fact, he said Micro's secret stuff. Specifically, the bottle is quickly passed around to every player to drink some, and naturally the team goes on and they come back and they win the game. Now, unfortunately, a story like this is only possible in Hollywood, right? See, there's no secret sauce in life. There's no secret stuff in life. Luck and good fortune are not enough to propel you above the pack. In fact, I wrote a formula around luck. Let me tell you what it is. It's preparation plus attitude plus opportunity plus action equals luck. So let me break that down a little farther for you. Preparation means growth, plus attitude, plus opportunity, plus action, meaning doing something about it, right? That's what luck is. You know, Eric Hofer, the author of The True Believer, says, no matter what our achievements might be, we think well of ourselves in rare moments. We need people to bear witness against our inner judge who keeps book on our shortcomings and transgressions. We need people to convince us that we are not as bad as we think we are. You see, that's our ego-centered self-judgment. That's our limiting belief. You got to eliminate that limiting belief. So what's the difference between average people and achieving people? Well, let me tell you, it's pretty simple. The difference between average people and achieving people is their perception of and their response to failure. Now, I'm going to say that again because I need to make sure you get it. Somebody out there needs to hear this. The only difference between average people and achieving people is their perception of and their response to failure. See, I believe that this statement is 100% true. See, the way you see failure and the way you respond to it makes all the difference in the world. See, here's the truth. The question of life is not if you have all your problems, if you will have problems, but it's how you respond to those. Let me make sure you're clear on that. The question is not if you will have problems, because let me tell you, you will have problems, but it's how you respond to them. Think about that. That's really the big difference right there. See, average people blame others. Achieving people take responsibility. Average people expect never to fail again. Achieving people know that failure is a part of the progress. Average people are limited by their past mistakes, where achieving people take more risk, take new risk, right? Average people quit. Achieving people persevere. You see, when failure is close at hand, what is an average person going to do? They're going to quit. They're going to give in. They're going to throw in the towel. They're going to say, I can't take anymore. I can't do this anymore. This is too hard. This is taking too long. I can't get fast results. Nobody wants it. I don't know if I can ever do it again. See, achieving people know how to persevere. They know how that the struggle is real. They know that the process is weeding out the weak. So once the weak are out of the way, then the achieving people go ahead and make things happen. So you have a choice. You can either be average or you can choose to be great. That's up to you. You have a choice. Now, there was this blind girl who hated herself purely because of the fact that she was blind. The only person she didn't hate was her loving boyfriend, as he was always there for her. No matter what the circumstances were or what the situation was, he was always there. She said if she could only see the world, she would marry him. Well, one day, someone donated a pair of eyes to her. Now she could see everything, including her boyfriend. See, her boyfriend asked her, now that you can see the world, will you marry me? The girl was shocked when she saw that her boyfriend was blind too, and she refused to marry him. Her boyfriend walked away in tears, and later he wrote a letter to her. Just take care of my eyes, dear. Now, it may take a little while for some of you guys to catch that. See, when our circumstances change, so does our mind. Some people may not be able to see the way things were before and not be able to appreciate the new way. J. Wallace Hamilton said, people are training for success when they should be training for failure. See, failure is far more common than success. Poverty is more prevalent than wealth. Disappointment is more normal than arrival. High achievers have learned how to confidently look at the prospect of failure in the eye, and they move forward anyway. No one achieves success without first going through some failure. I'm going to say that again because you have to make sure that you get it, you understand it. No one achieves success without first going through failure. I want to challenge you today. I want to challenge you to think back on a recent setback you had that you experienced. I want you to identify the specific thoughts you had about that setback or that failure. Then I want you to try to recall your attitude toward the problem and how you chose to respond. Then finally, I want you to ask yourself, why did I choose to respond that way? Is it because you didn't want to accept failure? Is it because you just couldn't believe that it didn't work? How did you respond? And why did you respond that way? Then what I want you to do is I want you to see if you can change the way you responded, if you responded in a negative way. Let me say it this way. Circumstance isn't the key to high achievement. The key is how you choose to respond to that failure. I'm going to say that again now. Circumstance isn't the key to high achievement. The key is how you choose to respond to failure. So you have to ask yourself these questions as you seek to find out that place where your dream and reality meets. Here's some questions that you need to ask yourself. They're pretty easy. There's 6, but they're pretty easy. What is my dream? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are my positive habits? What are my negative habits? And then try to eliminate those negative ones. And how long must I practice my positive habits to reach my potential? What is my dream? What are my strengths? What is my weakness? What are my positive habits? What are my negative habits? And how long must I practice these positive habits to reach my potential? You see, folks, there are a lot of people that's a lot more talented than me. There are a lot of people that's a lot more smarter than me. There's a lot of people that have way more resources than me. There's a lot of people that have more ability than me. There's a lot of people that's running faster than me. But let me tell you what, folks, they will never outwork me. I don't care how smart you are, how fast you are, how good you are, how much resource you have. Your daddy may own a company, your mama may own a company, all of that type of stuff, but you will never outwork me. See, it's about the hustle. It's about the grind. And that's what makes the difference really between high achievers and average people. You're never going to outwork me. You see, just when you think, boom, my resources is going to take me to the next level. No, I'm outworking you. Just when you think, well, I'm getting up at 4 a.m. every day, I'm already up at 3. Just when you think that you're getting up at 6, I'm already up at 5. Just when you think you're going to work past 5 o'clock, I've already done all of that. So by the time you get started, I'm already done. Do you hear me? Do you understand me? The only difference between average people and not so average people is the way you respond to failure, the way you handle it, and the way you handle yourself in those adverse moments. The law of trade-offs is a great law, and it says you have to give up to go up. That means you have to give up something of lesser value to get something of higher value. You got to give up going out all the time so that you can achieve some of the dreams that you want. You got to give up spending all your money on nonsense stuff so that you can gain some higher things with your income. You got to give up watching all that TV so that you can do some greater things in your life. You got to give up hanging out with your friends and your boys. And I know it's all fun and all good, but when you doing all of that, I'm over here grinding. When you doing all of this nonsensical stuff, I'm over here grinding. When you doing all this stuff, sitting around talking about I can't, I won't, it's going to fail, it's not going to work, I'm over here saying I can, I will, and then I'm doing it. That's the difference right there. Eric Hofer says, people will cling to unsatisfactory way of life rather than change in order to get something better because of fear of getting something worse. You understand what I'm saying, right? The difference between where you are and where you want to be is created by the changes that you're willing to make in your daily habits and in your thoughts. When you don't change your thoughts and you don't change your habits, guess what happens? You're going to get bad things. When you continually to tell yourself that you're not good enough, guess what? You're not going to be good enough. When you continually tell yourself you're going to fail, then guess what? You're going to fail. When you continue to listen to those negative people in your life and you hang around them, guess what's going to happen? Negative things are going to stay in your life. When you want to change, when you want to go to a higher level, you got to change the people that you're hanging with. You have to change the way you're spending your money. You have to change what you're reading. You have to change what you do every day. You see what I'm saying? This is why all of these books sit on my desk all the time. This is why all of these type books sit on my desk all the time, because I'm reading, because I'm trying to go to a high level, because I'm trying to do different things. And when you see me come out with something, you know, boom, I done put the time and the resource in it. I didn't watch TV. I didn't sit around just shooting the fat with people. I was actually doing something. And when you decide that you want to do it, oh, let me tell you what, you can do it too. And the only difference between winning and losing is belief. The only difference between ordinary and extraordinary is extra. The only difference between a person reaching their full potential and not reaching their full potential is desire. The only difference between hot water and boiling water is 1 degree. At 211 degrees, water is hot. At 212 degrees, water with boiling water comes steam. With steam, you can power a train. You see, when you want to do something, you have to ask yourself those 6 questions that I told you. What is my dream? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are my positive habits? What are my negative habits? How long must I practice my positive habits in order to reach my full potential? And then what you have to do is set out to get rid of those negative habits. If your negative habit is watching TV all day, get rid of that. Turn it off. Do something else. Pick up a book, read it, grow your mind. If your negative habit is you just want to go out every weekend, but while your other friends are working on their dreams, then what you got to do is cut out all the going out. If your negative habit is spending all your money, then you know what you got to do? Stop spending all your money. It's not hard, folks. It's very, very easy to be successful, but you have to be willing to stay with it. You have to be willing to stick through it. You have to be willing to persevere. You have to be willing to go through the fire in order to get to the other side, because I'm telling you, folks, the process is about weeding out the weak, and the weak will fall every time. And if you want to be on the good side of greatness, then what you got to do is you got to do the great things. You got to do what the great do. You see, the great people don't give up. The great people don't expect that everything is going to work out great. The great people don't expect that every time they touch something, it's going to turn to gold. They know that they're going to have failure. The difference is, folks, when you have that failure is how you handle it. The difference is when you have that failure, you say, okay, I got to go to plan B. When plan B doesn't work, what you got to do is I got to go to plan C. When plan C doesn't work, I got to go to plan D and E and F. And you got to keep changing your plans until you hit a successful one. But what you never want to do is you never want to give up on the goal. Let me say it so that you make sure that you get it. Don't you never, ever, 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 never, ever, never, ever, never, ever, never, ever give up on the goal, folks. Because when you do, all of a sudden you're going to see your friends standing right behind you laughing. They're going to say things like, I heard you was trying to do some things. I heard you were trying to go to a whole nother level. And guess what, folks? They're going to come laughing at you. They're going to be like the people that's growing the Chinese. You have to be like the person that's growing a Chinese bamboo tree. Here's the deal. Chinese bamboo tree takes 5 years to pop above the ground. But in all that time, in those 5 years, you're not going to see anything. You have to water the soil. You have to till the soil. You have to continue nurturing that spot so that that tree can pop above the surface. And once it pops above the surface, it's a life changer, folks. But in the meantime, what's going to happen in those 5 years while you grind it? You're going to have those friends that are going to come around you, and they're going to say, Cedric, I heard you was growing the Chinese bamboo tree around here. I don't see nothing happening. Hey, Marvin, I heard you was trying to go to another level. I don't see nothing happening. Hey, Stephanie, I heard you was trying to do something different. Hey, Anna, I heard you were trying to go up higher. I don't see nothing happening. Hey, Donovan, I heard you was trying to do something different. I don't see a change in you. But you have to keep watering the soil. You have to keep going after it. You got to keep chilling the soil for those whole 5 years. And then all of a sudden, one day that Chinese bamboo tree is going to pop above the surface. And once it pops above the surface, you can literally see it growing. In fact, within 5 days after it pops above the surface, it can grow as high as 90 feet tall. So you literally see it growing. And it's just like you, when you keep going during those 5 years and you're watering yourself and you're tilling, you're reading books, you're listening to tapes, you're going to conferences, you're staying with your accountability partner, you're getting a friend that's going to help you go to a whole other level. All of a sudden, one day you change. All of a sudden, your walk change, your talk change, your pocketbook change, your bank account change. Everything around you change, and then all of a sudden your friends are going to change because now you're going to a whole nother level. So you're going to leave that negative Nelly behind. You're going to leave old Steve who was behind you laughing at you all the time. You're going to leave them behind, and you're going to go to a whole nother level. You're going to be just like that Chinese bamboo tree, but you have to be willing to persevere. You have to be willing to go through the fire. You have to know that not everything is going to work out great. You have to know that sometimes you're going to have a little bit of failure, and that's okay. That's okay if you have that little bit of failure. It's how you respond to that failure is what's going to make the difference, folks. And let me tell you what, talent is a gift, but greatness, folks, greatness is a choice. Every person in here has the ability to be great if you choose to be. If you want to be great, then you have to do what the great do. If you want to be great, then you got to get up early. If you want to be great, then you got to grind late. If you want to be great, then you got to grind all the time. You can't do it some days, most days, every other day. You have to do it every day, folks. You can't do it some days. You can't come back here every other day, and you can't come here some days and say, I'm going to be great. No, folks, it doesn't work that way. You got to be great every day. You got to be into it every day. All you have to do is decide to make the choice that you want to be great. If you're tired of making a little bit of money, then what you got to do is do the things to make a lot of money. If you're tired of your program's not selling, then what you got to do is you got to sell. You got to go talk to more people. You got to talk to different people. See, your friends and your family are not going to be the ones that's going to buy from you, folks, because they're going to be ones that they know all about you. So they don't believe that you have this greatness in you. So you have to go out there and talk to other people. You got to leave the safety and security of your home. You got to get outside your comfort zone. You have to do things differently in order to do it, folks. Friends and family, they're not the ones that's going to make you the money. They're not going to be the ones that's going to be standing behind you all the time. There are going to be some, but most of them are not. So you can't count on that, folks. You got to count on yourself and your will and your skill and what you want to do. And the dream has to be your dream. So you have to understand that. What is my dream? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are my positive habits? And what are my negative habits? And get rid of the negative habits, right? And every time you want to get rid of a negative habit, folks, all you got to do is say it in your mind. I want to eliminate this negative habit. And you can do that, right? It's not that difficult. It's not that hard, folks. You just have to be willing to persevere. So thank you very much for tuning in for Friday Mental Motivation. I just have a question for you. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for to be great? You say it all the time. Cedric, I want to be great. Cedric, I want to do what you do. Cedric, I want to do it at the level that you do. All of my question is, are you willing to do what I do to do what I did so you can do what I do? Are you willing? Are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to give up some things of lesser value so you can go to a higher level? See, if you're not willing to do that, if you're not willing to do what I did, then you'll never be able to do what I do. I hope that you make a choice today to do some great things. I hope that you make a choice today to do some better things in your life. I hope that you do that, because let me tell you what, your children are watching you. They got somebody else behind you watching you. There may be a new entrepreneur that's watching what you're doing. They just want to see that you can do it, and this is going to give them the courage to do it themselves. I just want to make sure, folks, that if you're ready to do it, I want you to know that you can do it. Whew, man, that was good. But let me tell you what, folks. Friday Mental Motivation, we just getting started. We just touching the surface of it, folks. And I want you to know, every Friday morning, 8:30, 8:35, we're going to bring 10 minutes of pain to you, baby. We're going to bring 10 minutes of solid boom, mental motivation to help transform your life. I really should probably call it Friday Mental Transformation, because see, transformation is when I give you those aha moments. It makes you say, I want to do something different. I want to change, right? That's what Friday Mental Motivation, I may have to change the name to Friday Mental Transformation. And that's what it's all about. Now I'm going to leave you with these 10 steps to success, and then I'm going to get on out of here. They're real quick. They're real easy, right? The first one is you got to persist, right? You have to have a burning desire to win. Napoleon Hill in the book Think and Grow Rich says, any person that wins on an undertaking must be willing to burn his ships and cut all sources of retreat. Only by doing so can you maintain a mindset known as a burning desire to win. It has to be an all-encompassing, pulsating desire to win, to never give up, to never quit. Number two is you have to be decisive. See, successful people make decisions quickly. Leaders make decisions quickly. They don't sit around and ponder about things all day long. They make decisions quickly and they move. That's what the successful people do. Number three, you have to be faithful. You have to understand the process. You must act on faith and on evidence and move forward. Number four, you have to be creative. See, you will have to go places you have not been. You're going to have to meet people you don't know. You're going to have to do things you have not done before. That means getting outside your comfort zone, folks, and doing things a little bit different. Number five, you got to be positive. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, Shallow people believe in luck. Strong and wise people believe in cause and effect, not luck. Number 6, you have to be visionary. You know, in the Bible it says, where there's no vision, the people will perish. So you have to be visionary. Number 7, you have to be disciplined. Discipline is a muscle and you have to develop it. Just like if you're an athlete, you got to develop that muscle. Discipline is a muscle, folks. You can develop that muscle. It doesn't matter if you're 18 years old, you can develop that muscle. You can be 28, you can develop that muscle. You can be 38, you can develop that muscle. You can be 48, you can develop that muscle. 58, 68, 78, 98, 108, you still can develop the muscle of discipline. Number 8, you have to be willing. So you got to answer the question, am I willing to do the things that Cedric's doing? Am I willing to do those things consistently every day? Not some days, not most days, but every day. And then the other question is, am I able? Am I able to do it? If I'm not able to do it, can I go get the skills to do it? You remember I talked about developing that muscle? Yeah. Can I go get the skills? Do I need to get Cedric to be my coach? Do I need to get me several coaches to help me go to that other level? You can do it. Number 9, you have to be open-minded. Be willing to listen to new ideas. Be willing to listen to new thoughts. Be willing to listen to new concepts. Be willing to listen. Number 10, and I'm going to get on out of here, you have to be a continual learner. See, continuous investment in yourself. You see, I hear people say, well, Cedric, I can't afford that class. Well, yeah, you can. It's only $69. Yes, you can. It's only $99. Yes, you can. It's only $399. You can afford it. You just have to decide that you're going to make the investment in yourself. It's $5,000, Cedric. I can't afford it. Yes, you can. You just have to decide that you're making an investment in yourself. I bet if I told you Beyonce was coming to town and her ticket was $500, you'd be like, oh yeah, I'm in. I'm on my girl B, right? Yeah, singing on the beach and all of that type of stuff. I bet if I told you that Snoop was coming to town, you'd be like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter what the ticket costs. I'm gonna be in the house. I'm in the house. I'm in the front row. I'm in VIP, right? Yeah, when all those people come in town, but what's happening? They taking your money and they going on because they're being great. And all of a sudden you realize that you can't afford something because you're not being great. You refuse to invest in yourself, but you invest in Snoop, you invest in Beyonce, you invest in whoever the latest artist is. I don't even know. You have to decide that you want to invest in yourself. You have to decide that you deserve better than what you're giving yourself. You see, nobody else is giving it to you. Nobody else is picking your life but you. So all the mess that's in your life, all the brokenness that's in your life, everything that's falling down around you, you know who put it there? You did. It reminds me of a story of two guys, factory workers, and they're sitting around at lunch, and one guy reaching his lunch pail and he pulls out a sandwich and he goes, oh my God, it's a bologna sandwich. Not again, another bologna sandwich. This is the 3rd time this week I've had a bologna sandwich. He said, I don't like bologna. I hate bologna. In fact, I don't want another bologna sandwich. His friend said, man, calm down, just relax. He said, next time tell your wife, don't fix your bologna sandwich. He goes, look, man, leave my wife out of this. I fix my own lunch every day. You see, my point is this. The bologna that we have in our life, we pack it into our life. The bologna that you had in your lunch pail, you put it there. What bologna are you cooking up into your life every day? What bologna are you cooking up into your relationships every day? What bologna are you that you took from last year and you brought it into this year? What bologna are you going to take from this year and bring it into next year? See, you are the reason for all the burdens in your own life. You can change those if you want to. You just have to decide, I'm going to change it. I'm going to make it different. I'm going to do something that's going to take me to a higher level. Invest in yourself. Whew. All right. Invest in yourself, folks. I hope I was able to give you something today that you can utilize, that you can change your life if you decide to be a high achiever and not be average. So the final question I have for you today, are you going to take the jump to be a high achiever? Or are you going to stay right where you are, being average? That's average in your money. That's average in your career. That's average in your personal life. That's average in everything that you do. Because see, you're never going to be great in one area and average somewhere else. It's either you're going to be a high achiever or you're going to be average. Average in your job, average in your relationship, average in your finances, average in everything that you do. When you're tired of that and you want to be a high achiever, come on over here and let me help you become the high achiever that you were destined to be. It's not going to happen on its own. It's only going to happen when you make the choice, the decision to become a high achiever. Then you'll do it. Then you'll decide to invest in yourself. Then you'll know it's never too expensive to invest in me. And Jim Rohn says, if you don't have a plan for your life, chances are you're going to fall into somebody else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Absolutely nothing. Call up your friends and ask them, what do they have planned for your life? Ask them, what do they have planned for your finances? Ask them, what do they have planned for your career? Nothing, because they're only worried about theirs. And they should be. You have a responsibility to worry about yours. If you're an entrepreneur and you want to be a great entrepreneur, reach out. If you want to stay average, then you watch this and you stay average. It's okay. But all the people that want to be great achievers, we over here working, we're grinding. This has been another version of Friday Mental Motivation, a part of the Grind 365 series. You'll be hearing more about Grind 365 series as we go on, because June 30th, baby, we launching hard. And if you want to be here, you're going to be here. But you got to be ready to invest in yourself. You got to be ready to go to another level. Thank you guys, and you have a good rest of your day.